Okay, it's Can you guys hear me now at all? Yay! Don't ask me. I haven't changed anything since last week. Absolutely nothing. I changed nothing. All I did was restart YouTube and OBS, and now it's working. So I don't have a clue. I apologize. I don't know why it did that, but it did. It decided it wanted to do that. If it says offline pity restart, no, you're not late, Denise. I'm a little bit late because all of a sudden we had no sound. Okay, let me come back on and just say hi to everybody, and we'll go ahead and get started. I do apologize. I do not know what caused that. I have no clue. So, let me go ahead and play the intros, and we'll get started. Okay, much better. I am so glad. Thank you all for being patient on that sound issue. I do apologize. The image that I'm using today is just a small upload. We're focusing more on how to do these cups and the wood grain technique rather than the image. But this image will be available. I will pop it up on the free SVGs on the website, craftingwithapril.co. It's not there yet, but I will put it up after the live feed. So I'm just going to go over to the project camera, and we'll go from there. And it's very blurry, Sheila. And I don't know why. Check your screen because I am in HD mode, so it should be crystal clear. Hey, Karen. Sheila, put your glasses on. So, we're going to focus more on how to do the technique rather than the image, but the image will be available. So, let me pop over here to the project camera. Did that get clearer for you, Sheila? It could be YouTube. I don't know. So, that may be what it is. I just put these over. I shared these in the community, and you can find them in the group. They're in the Cricut community. I did this card this afternoon. This one is still drying. It's a little soft, so if you see in the photos it looks a little warped, it's just because it hasn't flattened back out yet. It will. This one was really warped too, and it flattened back out. But I used Nuvo drops on it. You can use sequins, crystals, pearls. Leave it plain. You don't have to put anything. Hi, Wanda. And I did say hi to everybody. I didn't know that there was no sound, but I did say hi to everybody as you came in. But these are available, and they're already up and ready to go. So, my cup is still a little soft, so I'm hoping that this works, guys. I started with just a plain stainless steel cup, and I get mine from Walmart. And this is a 30-ounce Ozark Trail, and it has the curved side on it. You can do this with any of them. Straight sides doesn't matter. I just wanted to show you guys what I got. And I have a couple of these in different process. This one I have already wood grained, painted, put the water slide on, and my vinyl, and it's ready for epoxy. Now, you don't have to epoxy these. I recommend it, but you don't have to. You can clear coat these with, oh, what is the name of that stuff? I'm trying to think of it. Amazing something. I don't know. It's in a spray can. You can use that if you don't have a cup turner. And I did this. This has got a solid white. This was done on white on the background. But this was what was recommended. These are orders people ordered from me. And this one has the epoxy on it already. And this one is a clear water slide, and then the clear on the back. It's a little more subtle than the other. But you can do any technique that you want. And I'll get into more about when to put what on there as we go. So for this look, you'll just want to get your wood grain on there, epoxy it, then come back and do your water slide, and then epoxy again. And then this one would be finished. But what I started with was the stainless steel, and then I painted my cup flat white paint. You can use satin. You could probably use gloss, but I'm going to say flat works best. I've used the satin. Really flat satin. They're both about the same. And I've got a couple of nicks in mine because, guys, I usually paint this and let it sit overnight. And I didn't do that. I mean, it's still kind of tacky in some places. So, yeah, the Amazing Clearcast Epoxy Resin, that's what we use on these. But they make one that's in a spray can. And I can't think of the name of it. That some people use. Can you use chalk paint? Wanda, you can, I guess, but you're going to have to be careful because it's going on stainless steel, and if you bump it at all, it's going to do like this does. It's going to knock your paint off. So, I don't think chalk paint's going to hold. It's not going to adhere like it would to wood. Let me just say that. It will not adhere like it would to wood. They even make a flat spray paint primer and that's what I'm going to use when I run out of this, because I think it will work better, because I worked in paint at Lowe's, and I went through a bunch of trainings, and my husband had a paint business for 30 years. So even when I bump this and it come off, I think the one that has the built-in primer will work better on these stainless steel cups, because Rust-Oleum, Krylon, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Spray paint is spray paint. But they do make one that has a primer in it that you can use on this stainless steel and not have to do anything but spray the cup. So this particular one I use is Rust-Oleum. But you can use Rust-Oleum, Krylon, doesn't matter. You can use Walmart brand if you want. That spray paint, as long as it's like an enamel. I did not sand my cup. I did not rough it up. I didn't do it to any of them. I didn't do it. I don't do it to the ones I put the glitter on. And I have my Coke Zero in there. I'm sorry, I don't want to tilt it too far and pour it. But I don't do anything to my cup except clean it. I get all of the label off of there where it's glued on, and I hand wash it with soap and water, and then dry it, and I'm ready to go. Some people do sand them. There's really not any need. if they're worried about it coming off, that's the only reason you would sand it, to give it a grip. Use the one with the primer built in, the flat spray paint with the primer built in. You're fine. So, but once you've done that, then you're going to pick your inks. And for this particular cup, I'm using Caramel. And these are alcohol inks from Tim Holtz. This is the Caramel. And then this one is Teakwood. And I may switch that to the Espresso. There are several browns that you can get, guys. This one is like latte. And then they have a ginger. The ginger is a little more red, I think. And then they have espresso. So you have different inks that you can get. And you can get those on Amazon. You can get them at your local craft stores. Made by Ranger. When you spray your cup, do I clean it with rubbing alcohol? No, I do not clean it with rubbing alcohol. I hand wash it with soap and water, make sure it's clean, and I'm done. Then I put my cup, if you're not used to spray painting, I'm going to suggest that you run some painter's tape around the inside of the rim so that it doesn't get on the inside. I clean the inside of mine up after I'm done completely anyway. I have lacquer thinners and stuff like that. My husband has all that kind of stuff. So I don't worry about it. I just do my cup and then, but if you're not used to it, yes, by all means, tape it up with some painter's tape so you don't get stuff on the inside. It does hold up, Crystal. Yeah, okay, it may, but it's still not going to hold up as well because it is not an enamel. Chalk paint is not an enamel. So, I mean, I don't know how well it's going to hold up. I just know what I know about paints and what I've been trained. And for metal, you probably want to have an enamel. So, I mean, everybody's going to find their own way of doing things, and that's perfectly fine. You do what works for you. But I'm just saying, I personally, I prefer the spray paint. But after you spray painted it and you're ready to go, then there's several different ways that you can do this. And I just go ahead and put my football on mine so that I have something to hold it by. And I wanted to show you guys too. Some people I have watched, they have used these little makeup sponges. They have used cotton balls. And I did try the cotton ball thing. And guys, I did it on one of those cups and one I didn't. I don't even remember which one I didn't. So, you do 2 coats. Yeah, I only had to do 1 coat with the spray paint. So, hi Pat. But everybody will find what works for them. I mean, everybody puts their epoxy on different. Everybody puts their inks on different. So it's going to be whatever works for you because everybody works differently. And it's the same way with cutting, fussy cutting cardstock and stuff like that. Everybody has their own techniques and what works for them. So you'll have to find what works for you. But I'm just going to put a paper towel down here just so I have something to dab on. You're going to need a little bit of alcohol. And some people will use 50%, some will use 70%, and some use 91%. I'm using 91%, but it's just isopropyl alcohol. The 91 is going to give you more drag time on it than the 50 and the 70. I've used both. I like the 91. So again, everybody works differently, so you'll have to find which one of those work for you. So I'm just going to say try what you have. It may work just perfectly fine. And then you'll either need some kind of chip brushes, and these are just the cheap little chip brushes that you'll find for $1 or so at your home improvement stores. And you'll need those, or you'll need a cotton ball. I'm going to show you both, and I really like the cotton ball. But I'm going to start with my lightest color, and this is the Caramel. And this is the reason why I like the caramel. You have to hold your cup pretty straight or it's going to run down the sides. And you're just going to put some of that ink on there, and then you're going to take your brush and you're going to start dragging that color out. Until it begins to dry. And then you're going to put a little more ink. And then you're going to drag that one. And I like to drag it into the next color and get that darker line down the center of it. And you can drag it out to the sides or down to the end. You're going to coat it eventually completely. Some people like long lines, some people like the short lines. Again, that's going to be personal preference, whatever you feel comfortable with. And I'm just coating this entire area. Sometimes I just coat the entire cup. When I'm doing 2 colors, I don't find that I need to coat the entire cup. Some people like to. Totally up to you. But most likely I would get what I wanted going here, and then I would just put on my mask and start doing the other one. But because you guys are learning the technique, I'm just going to go ahead and coat the whole cup just so you can see. And this coat to me is, if you're only doing one coat, one color, you want to make sure that you get all of this. Let's see if I can get some distance for you guys. Is that better? But I'm just dragging that color. And you can go back and forth either way you want to go. And that's what I mean about it running around the edge. That will happen if you don't hold it completely straight. It's not a big deal. And guys, don't be scared. If you mess up, this is alcohol ink. Let me show you what happens if you don't like the look you're getting. You can dip a cotton ball into some alcohol and just take it off. And just take it off and start over. It's not going to hurt anything. I did not make the holder, Kathy. This came from Texas Laser Instruments. I got that from them. It's a football on a piece of PVC, but it looks like they cut the end off and then use E6000 or something like that to hold the football on. And I still have some alcohol that's not quite dried there yet, so it's... But you're just going to keep working it all the way around. Short strokes, long strokes, whatever you like. And it takes practice. And this is what I said before when I showed this once before. Guys, you can get one of the plastic cups from Dollar Tree and spray paint it and do this to practice on. You don't have to practice on a stainless steel if you don't want to. And right here, I'm just going to do a knot. And I just drip that, and I'm just going to let that dry a little bit. Kind of pushed it out. And this isn't going to stay. And then I just put another drip on there and let it drip. Just blow on it a little bit. And then right before it's dry, I'm just going to put one more little drop and let it just spread out to kind of create that knot effect. And again, this is my first coat, so I'm basically just coating this. I'm not going to leave that, but that's how you do the knots. But I just want to get it coated for my mask. Now, you can coat your whole cup and do it, but like I said, I don't feel like I need to coat the whole cup to do this when I'm doing two-tone color. So what I found that works for me is window cling. Okay, but before I do anything, I am going to set this right here in the front, and I'm just going to use my embossing tool instead of baking it in the oven. I'm trying not to blow everything off the table. But you don't want it to be sticky. I let mine dry 24 hours between, but I can't do that live, so I'm going to cheat a little bit here. And hopefully it won't peel up when I peel it, because I didn't wait. If it does, I'll just sand it and work on it. Yeah, I got my cup turner, www.txlaserstudio.com. I think that they're moving away from Etsy, and they are coming to, they have their own website now. I'm letting that cup cool, guys. That's where that's where their new website is. So I got that on there, and now I am using, and you can reuse the window cling, guys. So keep your backing, and I am just going to, this doesn't stick like vinyl, so you can play with it a little bit and straighten it up and get it on there like you want, and then just kind of pat it down. Love the window cling for this. Love, love, love. And then we're going to pretend, because you're not used to it, you're going to do your whole cup, and we're just going to pretend that I've done the whole cup. Like I said, you don't have to, because you can layer one color of ink and still achieve the look. And I'm just going to drip a little bit of the darker ink, and I'm going to start dragging that. Yeah, I'm doing it upside down. Oops, wrong bottle. And you can see how it's starting to get that wood grain effect in there. But I'm going to show you with a cotton ball. I prefer, I think, the cotton ball. And you just put a little bit of ink on there. You'll still want to wear gloves. You don't want it on there. But I find that I have more control of the ink itself. And I found that knots are a little bit easier by dabbing. Just going to push that out a little bit. Knots take practice, guys. But you can see that it's getting that effect. I want to make that a little bigger. And you can see if you guys can see that. But I do find that the cotton ball gave me more control. You do have to be careful that you don't get a bunch of fibers from your cotton ball on there. And when you go over another area, it will take the previous ink off. It'll kind of smear it a little bit, but that's what gives you that wood grain look. As you can see, the brush to me is faster, but if you're learning, work with several different ways. Don't stick to one technique. Find what works best for you. And I'm just going to come right up over my window cling. But I'm just layering on the inks in various patterns to get that wood grain look. And that's basically all you're doing, is layering the ink. You need to let that dry a little bit. If you get a light spot like that, just kind of let it dry, because it's soaking up into the ink that was on there previously. And then just go back over it. Like I said, if you don't like the look of it, use some alcohol, take it off, and start over right there. What do you guys think? You like the way it's looking? Have I tried the felt pads? I have not tried the felt pads. I mean, I guess you could. I don't see where it would really hurt anything to try, because like I said, if you don't like the way that it's looking, just take an alcohol wipe and wipe it right off. My cotton ball got in my way. There we go. And I'm just kind of alternating, doing some long strokes, some short strokes. And like I said, here's a different brush. You'll just find what works for you. Yeah, they probably wouldn't leave the fibers like cotton. It's going to be 6 of one, half a dozen of another. I mean, with the paint brushes, they are the little cheap paint brushes, so sometimes they leave the hairs that you have to pick off. So it's just going to vary. Yeah, I like the brushes. Oops. I like the brushes a lot. And then when I get into areas that I'm just having a problem with, just needing to put some ink on, I like the cotton ball. So I use all of them depending on what I'm doing. And I'm just going to put a knot. I like to put a knot up at the top. I don't know why, but I do. And I just kind of tap up and down to push that out. And just before it gets good and dry, just another drop. You can see how I get that knot there. And then I just want a small drop, but I'm not going to get a small drop. Just want to lighten it up a little bit. And you can use alcohol for that drip there if you want. To me, sometimes it makes the effect of the cup, the paint on the cup comes through too much. Hey Lucy. Hi Stacy. And then I'm just letting that run around into the what do you call the where the end of the cup is attached on. I like to let it run around all the way around so that it's in that crack. I usually do that first just so I don't have to worry about it while I'm doing the cup of a big white spot showing once I'm done. I always get it to running down the sides every time I look at chat. You can use any size brush. Yeah, just a cheap chip brush is all you need. And you can just put it in alcohol to clean it. I'm just checking chat, guys, to make sure I didn't miss any questions. And it's starting to look pretty good, I think. Oh yeah, I have to clean mine. Because I'll surely pick one up that I put into pink or blue and put it on my cup. And a knot right there, maybe. And I just dipped my finger in alcohol and just stuck it on there. So that, like I said, They take practice, and there are several different ways to do them. So do what works for you. Play around with it. See what look you like best. And when I get towards the end, then I'll start doing the bottom so that it drags around and down. I hope I'm on camera there. And you can see why I'm wearing gloves, because it does splatter. And it looks like I'm using tons of ink, guys, but you're really not. It's just drops. We're just stretching them out into a line. Yeah, Sheila, it's a really easy technique. It does take a little practice, and it's because, and I did the same thing when I first did mine. I was just scared to do it. And then I thought, you know, what have I got to lose? You know, if it'll wipe right off, I can start over, so I lose a little ink. But my first one I practiced on a Dollar Tree cup. I spray painted it. One of those little cheapy plastics. And it's getting there. So, guys, I am going to try to show you how to do the bottom, or how I do the bottom. I just put some ink on it, and I hope you guys can see that. And I'm just dragging it across the same way, and then down that side to blend it in, and down the other side. I've got a little bit of a light spot there, so I'm just going to drag some more ink and drag it across to the bottom. And then if you want to do a knot on the bottom, of course, you can do that too. Kathy, I am using caramel and teakwood. And I can't stress this enough, guys. You have to seal this before you put your epoxy on, or your inks will run, okay? But you do not want to, you can bake it in the oven, let it sit 24 hours. You do not want to spray it too heavy with your clear coat. You want to be at least 8 to 12 inches away from it and spray it lightly, and then maybe do another coat or two. But if you get heavy on it, the ink's going to turn green. I have turned 3 of them green. So they will turn green if that ink is still damp at all. I don't know. It's something about the chemical in one to the other. But I've done it both ways, baking it, not baking it. And it seems to work best if I wait 24 hours before I put any sealer on it at all. So just letting you guys know that up front. So I use the Rust-Oleum 2x Ultimate Clear Gloss. And I'm just lifting that up, and it's probably going to take the paint. Yeah. See, I didn't wait 24 hours, but I can touch this up. It'll be okay. But if you wait 24 hours, you will not pull up your ink and your paint. I just didn't wait. Like I said, this was still damp when I started. But you can see how it brought through the color. And I'll just go and paint over this. I'll just take this ink off and paint over it and re-ink it. But I did this one right here the exact same way, except I did wait. And when I peeled this off, it didn't take any paint or anything with it. So it does work. If you try to put vinyl on it and peel it off, it's going to peel. So I really hate I knew that it was going to do that though when I started. I told you guys it was. So that's the importance of waiting 24 hours in between all of your coats. Okay? But that's all there is to it. And then you'll get that light and dark where it looks carved look. But you can use any sealer. Like the Krylon Shortcuts. It's just a clear gloss. Yeah, it doesn't play well with epoxy. I use the Rust-Oleum. Jamie, I have not used this yet, but Jamie said that it did not like the epoxy. Turn green. Did it, Jamie? Some of them will and some won't. But again, do your paint and wait 24 hours. Do your first color and wait 24 hours. I thought if I did the heat gun on it that would be enough, but it wasn't. And then do your second ink and wait 24 hours. Then do your clear coat. So these wood grain cups are not fast. It makes it do weird things. Somebody else told me, Jamie, that they used the Krylon and it turned, the sealer turned it green. But I used the Rust-Oleum, did the same thing. So the key is waiting and not getting too heavy with your sealer. Just really, really, really light coats. Triple thick. That's what I was trying to think of, Crystal. That was the one. Only with the espresso? Okay. Crystal says you can spray with the triple thick. That's the one I was trying to think of. I couldn't think of the name of it when I first started, guys. That's what I was trying to say. If you seal it with the triple thick, then it won't. But she says it still does it with the espresso. Do you know if it will, Crystal, if you stay far enough away from it? Because I know that even with the Rust-Oleum, I had one turn green, but it only turned green in spots where I got heavy. That was the thing. No more pitting or separation, Jamie? Okay. Yeah, you can get the triple thick in a spray can. Yeah, you have to do the light coats. Because and you have to wait. They have to cure, guys, because if you don't, like I said, it'll peel it up. But I'm okay with this because I know how to fix it. I just take some alcohol and take that off, and then I'll touch up that paint and redo it. But that's how you get the two-tone. I mean, you can take it off and start over. It's not a big deal. Yeah, because the end results are nice. Like I said, I just sprayed this with the Rust-Oleum. I haven't put the epoxy on it yet, but it's coated. And this one I put the epoxy on. Just put the epoxy straight onto it. Well, I clear coated it with the Rust-Oleum and then put the epoxy on. Yeah, Crystal, that's what I did. I'm short too, and my arm, I couldn't get my arm out far enough, and I think that's what it was, is I got heavy in a couple of spots, and it turned green. Paint the cup, wait 24 hours. Do your first coat of ink where your design's going to go, Sue, and then wait 24 hours, and then put your cling on there. And then put your second color ink. Wait 24 hours. That's right. You just missed, if you're doing two color ink. If you're just doing one color ink, that's correct. Does the cup ever stick to the football? No. I've never had that happen. If your cup is sticking to your football, then your football is too big for your opening. So when you put your epoxy on, your epoxy is going to glue to the football. How many coats of epoxy? Good question, baby girl. It's going to depend on if you have any snafus or not. If you get it on there, I like to do at least 2. But if you have, like I've got one little place right here, for some reason it kind of tried to orange peel, and that's probably when I got too close with my heat gun popping air bubbles. So I'll need to do another coat over this, but I have to do another coat anyway because I want to seal in my decal, my water slide. So I'm going to do my second coat. Then I will look at the cup and go over it, and if I feel any areas that just don't feel right, I'm going to sand it with about a 300 grit sandpaper, and then I'm going to wash it and clean it off, and do not put alcohol on it. It makes your epoxy sticky because it takes about a week for it to really cure. Okay, so after it has I will feel for any spots, and I will sand in those areas and sand it all down, and it will dull up. Don't worry, it'll shine back up. And I put it back on the spindle and put another coat after that. So, and usually I never have to do more than 2 or 3 coats, usually. Unless it's just something just really weird happens, like a fly gets in the house and lands on the cup, and he ends up fluttering there and dying, and you get up the next day and find him, then you may have to do a 3rd coat. Yes, that did happen. That was during the summer. My dogs let a fly in. Yeah, you got the steps down. So paint 24 hours, your ink color 24 hours, put your window cling on, do the rest of your paint, take your window cling off, and wait 24 hours, and then seal and wait 24 hours. Because if you don't, this will happen. because I started painting this cup at 4 o'clock this afternoon. So that's why this happened to me. It did not happen with the other. As you can see, I still have my decals, and these have been used. Both of them have been used. So, and there's no paint on any of them. But I did wait on those. So if you do it right, you won't get any paint, and then your clings are reusable. And I'm just going to suggest, guys, if you're not going to do 2-color or anything like that, and you're still going to do vinyl, do not put your vinyl on this. Because if you need to pull it up and readjust for any reason, you will ruin this finish. Because vinyl will peel it up. I don't care how long you waited. It will peel it up. So get your epoxy on, do a coat of epoxy, and sand it. Whatever you need to do. If you have any areas, get it nice and smooth. And then put your vinyl on, and then do your epoxy over the vinyl. And the ink layers, that's going to be personal preference till you get the look that you want, what you're going for. No two are ever going to be alike, and I'm sure if Crystal's still here, she can attest to that. I did a video, Debbie, showing how to do the epoxy. I did a step-by-step on that for the blue cup. And I did this one where I put the actual sand in it. Yeah, it's funny now, baby, but it wasn't funny at the time. It was not funny. Yeah, if you still have, if you have questions still, Debbie, after watching that video or that step-by-step, please let me know. Because we all learn, and that was one of my earlier ones. And I've learned that if you stay about 8 inches away with your little embossing heat gun on low, it will pop any air bubbles that you have. But don't get too close and don't stay in one spot. You have to keep it moving or it will orange peel. And what I mean by orange peel is it will make your epoxy look like the skin of an orange. I have one little spot right there. I don't know if it's going to show up on camera. But I mean, I can fix it. I know how to fix it. But keep your heat gun 6 to 8 inches away and keep it moving, and it will pop any air bubbles that you have in your epoxy. Okay, does anybody else have any more questions? Yeah, the window cling, it's a roll of window cling, and I just happen to be using the black. It comes, I think they still have the orange and white. They have like a Halloween pack. I don't know if they have the red. Hey, Karen. So, I mean, they've got all different colors of the cling, but the cling really worked well for me. I didn't have any bleeding under it or anything like that. Oh, thank you, Gerald. Thank you to all my patrons and everybody else. If you guys have questions and they didn't get answered, or you, after watching the video or the replays, you still have questions, please, please, please message me. Don't forget to message me if you need anything. My mouse is not working for me here. All right, and I am going to search for a winner here. Crystal had some good information for you guys. Crystal, are you still here? You have to be present. We'll give her just a second to come in. Hey, Bonnie. Yoo-hoo, Crystal. Are you with us? Does the winner get Sula's lasagna? That's funny, Eddie. Yeah, it is a great gift idea. I have about 14 of them to make. Yeah, and that's the thing, because the guys don't want glitter. And guys, you can put teams on these with the vinyls and stuff. Okay, I'm not getting a response from Crystal. Okay, we appreciate all the good information, Crystal. Thank you so much for that. And let me go through here and see. Miss Sheila. How about Miss Sheila Rogers? Is she still with us? Yeah, I love doing the wood grain. I can't find the video anywhere, Julie. It just kind of vanished. It's probably in there and we're just overlooking it. I believe I did it on a chat around the mat, but who knows? Yes, yes, yes. Miss Sheila says she's there. Miss Sheila, I know you're a patron, and I will get you a gift out into the mail. Winner, winner, chicken dinner from Miss Sheila Rogers. And guys, Saturday, if you're a patron, the Saturday live will be at 3 o'clock, and I will draw some gift-aways for my patrons. So make sure that you're there on Saturday, 3 o'clock, to watch the live gift-aways. And I don't know what project I'm going to do yet. I think it's Kathy Gouchner, I think, is the one that gave me an idea of a shaped pop-out box, or popping box. So we may do that on Saturday, if I can get the file to work. So congratulations to Sheila, and thank you everybody for your input. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being patrons. If you're not a patron, please consider supporting. And thank you to all of my Crafting with April crew. You guys, couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much.